Hi.
Hi.
Did you enjoy the Swiss Talent Forum?
Yeah, I really found it quite interesting, but for me there was some interaction missing in it. Or what do you think?
Well, my opinion is that the lectures, even though they were pretty much bunched together, and it was determined to the effect. And I think it would have been beneficial if you would have mixed the lectures with the rest of the activities instead of first having the lectures and then everything else. Does anyone have some other inputs?
So yes, it would have been nice to have more interaction with the speakers, I think. Anybody else?
Yeah, it was a little bit information overload.
Do you know if Swiss Youth in Science will make something to improve it, or no?
Yeah, actually we spent the last 2 days working on exactly that problem, because our challenge was how can Swiss Youth in Science improve its customer journey for young scientists in Switzerland and in Europe. We were given the conditions of a budget of about 80,000 Swiss francs, and the project should be implemented within 6 months. Now I'm going to tell you something about the Swiss Youth in Science in general. Well, Swiss Youth in Science is a foundation, meaning that it's not just like Tibbetts, where you pay for the food that you get. Nothing against Tibbetts, I love it, but it's just a different concept. So the customers, the participants, they don't actually pay. I mean, we came here for free. So it's the sponsors that provide money for the events that Swiss Youth in Science carries out, such as the Swiss Talent Forum or the National Science Competition. In turn, the sponsors get publicity or future talents. And we, the participants, offer motivation, ideas, and solutions. So it is really a different concept, and I think it's quite important to understand that. So about the Swiss Talent Forum. Of course, it is important to understand the different steps that have to be taken before, during, and after the events. Before the event, it's important to consider the marketing aspects, and after, it's important to a possible alumni network might improve the experience. These two aspects were covered by the other group in their app. So I am going to focus on the program itself, the lectures. So how can we improve the lecture part of the Swiss Talent Forum? You are all very experienced since you have participated, so maybe you can take a moment and think about that quickly. Our group came up with a structure of 3 different steps you might take in order to have a lecture structure. The first step is a theoretical input. So an expert might provide some theoretical insights, and this would happen in a plenum, so everyone would get this. This would be followed by a personal selection of lectures. This might look like this. So you, before the event, you would be provided with a range of offers from which you would pick your favorites. And based on your interest, you could then experience these inputs. So as you can see, there would be several lectures simultaneously. This would reduce group size, making the whole experience much more interactive and allowing space for discussions and one-to-one interactions so that you have less of this front kind of situation. Eventually, the group of the challenge could interact with the expert, so the expert could provide some insights into the challenge. And now the interesting thing is that the group will be made up of members that have attended different lectures before. So they could have different backgrounds and provide different approaches to the challenge and come up with interesting solutions. Now, of course, the interesting and important question is whether this is feasible. We were given a budget of 80,000 Swiss francs, and we thought that we might not need more rooms because we also have the exercise rooms that we could use. So what we would need is more speakers. and we calculated an additional costs of about 700 to 7,000 Swiss francs. So that would be well within our budget. So in conclusion, we could have, with very cost efficiently, we could have a significant improvement of the user experience, since this structure would make the Swiss Talent Forum much more interactive and therefore more user-friendly. I'm now going to hand over to Carla, who is going to present something about the National Science Competition.
Thank you very much. So we heard a lot about interaction. Interaction is a really important keyword here, and so I just want to talk about what interaction actually means. In physics, interaction means the direct effect that one kind of a particle has on another in inducing the emission or absorption of one particle by another. So a little bit more simple said, an occasion when two or more things or people react to one another or communicate. And to communicate, you actually need only two things. You need people and you need some skills. Communicating isn't always that easy. So, in order to make the national competition better, we have two important steps to achieve. We need people and we need skills. So, to get more people, our idea was, as you can see on the left side is the goal we want to achieve, and on the right side you see what we want to do to achieve it. So, we want to build up a bigger audience and a community by inviting schools. For example, my school didn't even mention that to me. I just now know about it because of the Swiss Talent Forum, which is a pity because I think it would have been really interesting to see more works of people I actually don't know. So we want to invite schools, whole gymnasiums or secondary schools from all over Switzerland or maybe also from other countries, and build a bigger audience. I know that we have a big range of audience already. We have companies, we have foundations, we already have students there and teachers, but it would be also interesting to have a little bit younger visitors. For example, starting at the age of 11 or 12, we make sure that already really young students get inspired and motivated to do an own project. So by that, we already make sure that we have future participants, which is a really good marketing strategy. So, step one is covered. We have a bigger audience, we have the people. Now about the skills. So, our suggestion was that we make a workshop in the beginning of the national competition in order to learn how to talk to people, and not only how to talk to people, but also how to present your project. I know that you already talked about this with your mentors, but sometimes it's good to discuss that in smaller groups and maybe with an expert in communications and presentations. So you would discuss that in the beginning, you would get some knowledge about how to sell your product, how to show the full potential, and how to motivate other people by showing what you did. Also, you're not talking to the same groups of people. So you're talking to 11 years old, but also to the CEO of a big company. And I don't think that you talk and explain things in the same way to those two groups of people, right? So we learn that and we get a lot of knowledge. And just to give a quick insight into the finances, I think it would be really well possible because most of the experts and speakers are volunteers. So we wouldn't even need money for that, which is a great thing, right? So you see, it's a really efficient way by just combining these two things, by combining more people with a little bit more skills. We can build up a bigger community and make sure that we have future participants and that we know how to communicate and interact with each other. So, you guys, what do you think about those ideas?
Yeah, I absolutely think that those measurements really would increase the interaction on all levels, like between the participants of the national competition and every visitor of all ages, all professions.
Yes, Swiss Youth in Science will be more active, attractive and alive.
Thank you.